most importantly, is preparing for that interview. And whether it is by telephone or whether it is face-to-face, this is one of the most neglected dynamics of the interview process. If you're going to be dealing with someone who is, for whatever reason, reluctant to give you the information that you want or reluctant to confirm the information that you need, this individual on the other side of that telephone has given preparation as to what they're going to do in order to avoid doing that. So our goal is to be more prepared, better prepared than the person to whom we're going to be conducting this interview with. Questions that you preface with could or would, people tend to be more willing to respond to. So remember, in a telephone interview, you don't have your nonverbal behavior working for you. You're not going to be able, either through the expression on your face, the micro expressions on your face, or your body posture, present a stance of openness and willingness to learn. So you're going to have to compensate with that dearth by having the ability to influence through your verbal and nonverbal, through your verbal and your vocal behavior. And the standard tie-down question puts what you want that person to agree with at the beginning of that sentence and ties it down at the end of the sentence. Here's an example of a tie-down sentence. A loyal employee is going to do what's in the best interest of the company, isn't she? Now, the use of tie-down questions will do this, help you to gain agreement, and they will also help you to identify barriers to cooperation. The second thing with regard to conducting your telephone interview is make arrangements to set aside time to do the interview. Whoever you need to notify that you don't want to be interrupted, that you need to set aside this time, because an interruption at a critical point may be such that you'll never be able to recover that again. And so you may invest a goodly amount of time on that telephone getting the individual to the point where they will cooperate with you, and an interruption may negate all of the effort that you have put into doing that. Give that interviewee your full undivided attention. Don't think that you can conduct a telephone interview while you're checking your email, surfing the web, responding to emails. One of the reasons they call it paying attention is because we only have so much attentive cash to distribute. Paying attention to this person is a demonstration of respect, a willingness to know, and it shows concern for that individual. You don't want to come across on the telephone as if you are some mechanical dynamic on the other end of the line, and that this person on the other end of the line from you is simply a respondent to a mechanical endeavor. This is a communication event between two people, and you obviously have a goal for that communication event. Don't be afraid to use silence. Silence is an interviewer's friend. Silence says to the individual, I'm listening, but it also says you haven't finished talking. Make sure that you validate what this individual has told you, and mirror questions are a great way to do that, but you can use tie-down questions, closed questions, in order to validate to the individual that you understand their narrative and that they are cognizant of the fact that you do understand. Your attitude is going to come through loud and clear by your voice tone your intonation in the content, then you're going to come across how you think. And so make sure that you don't get into some type of a rut or confirmation bias, or that you've already made up your mind with regard to this individual, because that's exactly how you're going to come across, and you may be working to your own detriment. So make sure that your attitude is such that you keep in perspective that this is a professional engagement. You're being paid to conduct this interview, and that whatever is going on the other end of the line is not a personal interaction. This is a professional interaction. What I like to do when I'm talking to people over the phone is to smile. And when you're smiling, that smile comes through. And so, again, don't take whatever's happened or whatever's happening personally. The interview itself should never be an emotional experience for the interviewer. I want to talk a little bit with regard to the role of anger in the telephone interview and the linguistic indicators of deception. So it's very possible that because of the astute interviewer taking away the luxury of concealment and through their questioning ability move that individual over to falsifying, then that increased anxiety can transition into frustration, which can transition into anger. Now, keep in mind that anger is a loss of self-control. Listen carefully to what that individual says in their point of anger, because they've lost control, and at the point that the individual has lost control, then the individual is going to play his strongest card. And so is what the individual angry about in the center of that target or the issue itself, or does that individual in their anger move further out from the center of that target? Where do they place their anger? How do they articulate their anger? I've had some people that would tell me that I had a lot of nerve asking them that because they worked harder than anybody else. That I had a lot of nerve asking them that because they knew so many fine people. So pay attention, maintain your composure, and remember, you can always endeavor to try and reduce that anger with open questions and empathetic activities on your part, such as the validation and the reflective probe. And then stalling mechanisms we've talked about with, let's see, okay, they can be verbal or vocal. A false supportive is to tell you the truth. As a matter of fact, God is my witness. These can be most prominent if the individual begins to lose control of their own temper. A non-confirming statement is a statement in which the individual alludes to an activity, but they can't confirm that it happened. Look for words such as started, attempted, tried, and TO plus a verb. And then also pay attention to a performative. Now, a performative is a linguistic device wherein the individual will think of it as a performance. The individual will put a device at the beginning of whatever they want to say, such as this: Don, I want to tell you something, and I want you to hear me when I tell you. So that even if whatever they tell you after that is a lie, it will be processed psychologically by them, low anxiety. So another example of a performative is, well, I'll tell you just like I told that first person that called me.